for those of you who weren't at the opening today, we opened our shelter housing complex, which John muffed his lines as usual, and called it Reedvale House, and when he pulled the curtain back, in fact, it's John Butterley House. So there's now a building named after him. Right, what I would like to do now is just remind people a little bit about why Reedvale Housing Association is what it is, and it's largely because of John Butterley. And we didn't want to buy John just some old boring present, a gold watch or something. So we've got you the minutes, John. You may laugh, but I spent my Easter holidays reading 20 years of Reedvale Housing Association minutes, for which I should get the bloody MBE. However, having done that, having synthesised them down, you also have the marvellous opportunity tonight of ordering a copy of The Secret Life of Reedvale Housing Association at a cost of £5 per copy. You can order it tonight, pay your £5, and we will send it on to you. You can trust us. And all the money raised that way will go to a charity that John can nominate. You can choose who you want to give that money to. However, I'd just like to give you as a selling pitch for this lovely document. I'm going to give you a few extracts just to explain a wee bit about Reedvale. First of all, about John Butterley. Since the minutes started, I don't know how many meetings there were before they started keeping minutes, but since the minute book started, there have been 228 meetings of the management committee. That's just ordinary meetings, that's not your special meetings and your emergency meetings and your crisis meetings and all the rest. It's just normal management committee meetings. 228, and John was actually was in the chair for 211 of those meetings, which says something for his stamina. The only ones he missed were when he was on holiday usually. I mean, it's not that he was ill or he didn't come, he was actually out of the country. I think John's influence is seen when you read through these minutes in a variety of ways. I think that you can sum up Reedvale in 5 broad headings. The tremendous relationship based on trust and mutual understanding between this association and what was the Housing Corporation and what is now Scottish Homes from day one was excellent, and I'll prove these statements shortly. Sound financial management, which has always been at the root of this organisation, at least until Jerry joined us. Concentrating on the big issues of the day, ignoring the trivia and getting right to the heart of the matter has always been a keynote of Reedvale's committee meetings. Our generosity in helping others is renowned. And of course the wonderful relationship between the committee and the staff of Reedvale. That's the staff, or former staff, who are making this sort of comment. I think the best illustration of our relationship with the Housing Corporation, Scottish Homes, I'll stop saying both, I'll refer to whatever it was called at the time. One of the very early meetings, 22nd October 1975, standard deed of variation of conditions. This is a typical bit of bureaucracy. Mr. Murray presented, this is Ronnie Murray from the Housing Corporation, presented the committee with a standard deed between Reedvale Housing Association and the Housing Corporation, which every association got. The requirement was that the association should seal the document and apply the signatures of 2 committee members and the secretary. The committee felt that since they didn't know the contents of this, they did not wish to sign it. We got off to a really good start there. We were always understanding of the difficulties of the Housing Corporation. 18th of August 1976, Mr. Dowson informed the committee that the continual battle with red tape ties our hands. Luckily, we got some very good advice from Mr. Finney of the Housing Corporation, who said, "You must find a solution, but do not despair." Another mentor for the association was Raymond Young, who actually became an agenda item in September 1970. Item 4, for the record. And Mr. R. Young sympathised with the association's problems. "You're not the only association that's been knocked back. Reedvale is not being picked on." Obviously, thought we were paranoid. He then explained what the problem was. Mr. R. Young said the Housing Corporation is understaffed and he has superiors to answer to. Very much like Scottish Homes today. We then go on to September 1976. where Mr Moody, a committee member at the time, asked what the cost of improvements would be. Mr Dowson seemed to think that the cost would be £5,000 to £7,000. Mr But, however, good news on the horizon, Mr Butterley had a talk with Mr Young, and his statement was, "Do not worry about money." So we didn't, ever again. That was in September 76. In January 77, Raymond came back and clarified it. Still item 4 on the agenda. Mr Raymond Young explained to the committee, "You cannot be accurate with cost. What you should be concerned with is value for money." Now that's spooky thinking of that in 1977. Reidvale is always modest in its approaches to the Scottish Homes. We appreciate there are other organisations and there are other calls and resources. 21st of December 1977. Reidvale hopes to buy and improve between 250 and 300 units in the next financial year. Mr Young of the Housing Corporation has indicated to Mr Dowson that this figure is too high, as it represents 1/10 of the allocation for the whole of Scotland. Good try, John. Sometimes relationships did become a little bit strained, and even the most patient people, and in Malcolm Matheson probably you have the most patient person I've ever met. That's probably why he's lost so much up top. In April 1982, Malcolm reported back in a meeting between the Housing Corporation Scottish Committee and the SFHA. He advised that the Housing Corporation had been evasive and unhelpful, obviously preparing to become Scottish Homes at that stage. There's some very strange things in our minutes as well. Sometimes makes me wonder about the accuracy, but maybe not. Maybe it's just I haven't heard about this. June 87. The committee considered the consultation document issued under the title Scottish Homes, which dealt with the proposed merger between the Housing Corporation in Scotland and the SFHA. So perhaps if Jim Hasty's here, he can advise us if that's going ahead or whether it's on the back burner now. And the relationship, as you saw with Ronnie Murray at the very start, was sometimes a bit fraught, refusing to sign things. Even later on, things occasionally didn't quite like the plan. October 1991, draft bid for Scottish Homes stock. This is when Reidvale bid for all Scottish Homes houses in the East End of Glasgow. Mr Meldrum gave his impression of the meeting with Jim Hasty, which he had attended along with John Butterley and Rob Joyner. He was of the view that Jim Hasty had wanted to find out if our approach was genuine or merely an attempt to cause mischief. Not sure if Jim has worked it out yet. So much for our relationship with other organisations.